welcome back to Perfectly Proofed. Like promised, we're gonna jump into another recipe. I'm gonna make some candy for Christmas. Peanut brittle. You don't have to do it with peanuts. If you do it with like pistachios, that's really fun because it gets really nice and green through it. A few special um, tools we need. We need a candy thermometer. If you have like an electronic thermometer that reads over like 325, it'll work. But the problem is then you have to put your hand right there. That always isn't very fun. And we need a silicone mat. Silicone, whatever. I wouldn't do this on parchment like at all. I would do it on a mat and a good whisk. You also want to use a pot that isn't non-stick, so that way we don't like burn it off into our candy. And let's jump into it. I'm making a double recipe personally because I'm making a bunch of candy. But you can half this or double it or however you want. So the world's yours. Okay, our first step we're going to boil our sugar, our cornstarch, and our water just until our sugar dissolves. Personally, like I said, I'm doing times 2, which is 2 cups of cornstarch, so which is one of these bottles. But a good trick, if you are measuring it out, if you measure your water out first into this, right? And then we measure our corn syrup into this guy, right? The water will help make it fall out. I mean, I'm not saying that it's just going to like fall right off, but it helps. Oh, another trick is with your measuring cup, if you take non-stick spray and just like dash it just a hair and then pour it in, it'll help it come out too. There's still some that needs to come out, but I am going to put this on the stovetop and just let it start coming up to temp as this cycles out of here. Okay, just wanted to show you what it looks like. Should mix it up pretty quickly, and I'm going to cook this until the sugar breaks down, which should take about like 10-ish minutes, but we'll pop back in here when it looks like what it's supposed to look like. So as we can see, everything's starting to break down a little bit more. It's like more consistent to water now. If you haven't already, you should cut up your butter. A little tablespoon kind of cuts. I mean, they were super rough. I'm not really too stressed about how you do it. Just don't throw it in there whole. Good. Okay, now that it's starting to break down a little bit more, what I want you to do is take your whisk and just scrape the outside. As you can see, there's probably some buildup on your pan as well. We don't want this to burn. It's not going to at this stage, but this just helps for later. Just go ahead and take your and just scrape it down and try and keep that side wall clean. But you know, if you get some more sugar up there, just go ahead and take your whisk and scrape it off. At this point, now that it's like more water consistency, I've increased my heat just a little bit from low to like medium low, and I'm gonna continue to cook this down until it's the sugar is all the way broken down. So. Okay, we can see our sugar is broken down completely. It's more of a simple syrup, or even like the consistency of the cornstarch from the bottle, right? All of our water and sugar going down. And at this step, I want you to go ahead and add in those butter chunks. So go ahead and just pop all those in. Don't splash yourself. It's really hot, like I just did. It's like a little jacuzzi for butter squares. I said it. I'm not ashamed. Okay, as our little butter square people are melting. We want to melt. We want to melt. We want to stir them in. And from this point, we're going to cook this mixture until it gets to 280. I personally am not going to put my candy thermometer in now because it's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes. So in about 10 to 12 minutes after this melts and comes back to a boil, I'm going to pop my thermometer in and wait until we get to 280. Then once we get to 280, we're going to add our peanuts, and then we're going to cook it to 305, and I'll show you what to do after that. Our mixture has come to a boil, and I have no longer left it. I'm just kind of sitting here and at least stirring it every once in a while. It can sit for a little bit, but then I'm going to go ahead and stir it again. We're just going to kind of sit on this for about 15-ish minutes. I'm going to pop my thermometer here in there in about 5 more. Just kind of letting it do its thing. Okay, we're really only about at 250, but as you can see, if you stop stirring, it starts to overboil, but we really don't want to burn this on the bottom, so we really want to just keep stirring this. At this point, I turned it up to a medium-low, but I want to show how to get an accurate reading. So if you're just putting the thermometer on the bottom, it's going to be the hottest because that's where the heat is obviously registering off the bottom. So what you actually want to do is find about the middle as you can and then lift it off like half of an inch off the bottom if you can. And then that would be your true reading. So I got about 20 more degrees to go, so I'm just going to let this keep going. Okay, as you can see, we're at 280. So from here, we're going to go ahead and put our peanuts in and then cook this to 305. Make sure we have our silicone mat ready to go because once we hit 305, we're going to add in our baking soda and then lay it on our silicone mat so it can cool. Once we added our peanuts in, it shocked our sugar, so it's going to take a little bit just to come back up to temp. As you can see, we've hit a little over 305, so quickly we're going to take our thermometer out. And then with the heat still on, we're going to add our baking soda. We're going to turn our heat off. And with this still hot, we're going to punch all of our peanuts out, or else this will be impossible to clean. And then with a spatula, we're going to pour this onto our silicone mat. This stuff is like napalm, so do not get it on you. It will hurt at all times getting it off. Then we want to spread it. So there we go. There's our peanut brittle. Make sure we let it cool down all the way before we break it up into pieces and give it away as gifts or eat it all, as you should. You can do it at home, have friends, any time of the day or night. The world's yours. So if you like this video or tried it, subscribe, leave a comment, like, do all the things to help me out because this is starting to get discouraging. So that would be cool, and I'll see you on the next one. And the last thing to do, and enjoy.